Okay, so my fire pit has burned up the spark arrestor top. The wire mesh went bad. Now, I looked up the wire mesh to buy it and replace it on the top because the bottom and everything is still pretty good shape, you know, and but it is a small 29-inch, so a lot of the wood pieces, you know, they kind of hang out and this and that, and the fire was always touching the top of the screen. And having a spark arrestor here because we're in a heavily wooded area. I mean, you can't burn if we're in a burn ban, but a lot of these pine needles catch fire very quick, so you know, you want to be safe. You don't want to have a fire near any of this and have sparks flying around. So what I did anyway is I got this bigger one, the 36-inch Hampton Bay from Home Depot. And it is supposed to be deeper, bigger than what I've got. And like I said, the screen mesh was so expensive that I couldn't justify buying the screen mesh because it would have been more than half of the price, or almost damn near the price of that old fire pit I had for a roll of the wire mesh. It's the only way they sell it at these places is you got to buy a whole roll of it. So I decided to get this one here, and I noticed on the ordering, since I ordered it on the internet, they didn't have them in the stores. That people were asking how big it really was, how big the bowl was, how deep the bowl was, and how easy it is to assemble. So I thought I'd do an unboxing and a quick assembly and a measurement video. And we'll go from there. So let me grab a razor blade and we'll go ahead and do that. Now this thing does look like it's been opened already, or I don't know, but it is made in China. It is made in China, so no big surprise there. Home Depot probably spent about $15 on this thing from China. I am aware of their pricing, and it doesn't appear to be very heavy, just awkward in the box. And this is a bronze finish, so here we go with a styrofoam. Ah, shit. Yeah, I love this crap. Yeah, this styrofoam is nasty stuff. It gets everywhere. Well, they package it fairly well. So, let's see here. Okay, we can take that out. Okay. Wow, this is a lot bigger. They say it's a 36-inch. Nice, bigger screen than the old one had, which means it'll leave a little bit more to go through it. And you get a cooking grid with it, in case you want to cook over. You're not going to put charcoal in this thing. That would cost you a fortune, and I don't know anybody that really cooks over wood, or at least pine like we have. So this is pretty much wasted metal there. Here's the ring that goes around so you can grab it. Instructions big enough for a blind man to read. These are the legs. Now this is nice. They put all the screws in here and give you an Allen wrench to put it all together with. So nice packaging there. That's a nice change. And all right, there's the legs. And let's see, we'll get rid of that. This is a very nice big bowl. The bottom seems to be a little bit thinner than the small one that I have, and that is a Home Depot Hampton Bay too, but it's a 29.9 they call it. So, the measurements that they give you, sometimes they measure the ring on the outside. Alright, I had to get the different camera out. My GoPro is in need of a battery, I guess, because it keeps shutting down after a few minutes. Anyway, getting back to where we left off, like I said, sometimes they do measure the ring, the outside, or the outside of the bowl. What most people are concerned with the actual measurements of the bowl itself. In other words, the area that you're going to be using, which the inside of the bowl is 28 inches in diameter, and the height is 12 inches. A little bit more, 12 and a half roughly, 12 and a half inches. So it's a very large area for doing some pretty good pits. So anyway, I'm going to get back to it, and I'll stick to this camera now, and I'm going to assemble this real quick. It shouldn't take very long. It's basically the same as the smaller one, and that's it. So I'll get back to it after I've got it together, and I'll give you a quick review to see if this is written in Chinglish, which, yeah, this isn't going to be very hard to figure out anyway. So there it is. Okay, we'll get back on it in a little bit. Alright, so everything's pretty much self-explanatory here. The instructions are pretty much just for what screws you're going to need. These are the legs. You'll see they have the threaded holes in there. These are the handles that go around, and they've got different screws for them. Now you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to do these, the Allen wrench they give you, or you can use a flat screwdriver, a standard. The screws are for either type of screwdriver. So whatever you have, if you're a homeowner and you don't have a lot of tools, you know, you can use either type of screwdriver to put this together. And then as these go around, they fit together, and they will also have a screw at the bottom to hold them together. And that's pretty much it. Then you got to put the little handle on the top of the spark arrestor top. So I'm going to get busy here, and I'll put that together. Get that together. Alright, just a quick tip here. On assembly, when you put these together, leave all the screws loose. Just start them halfway in. That way you can align everything up a little bit better, and it'll fit together better too. And then if you go and turn these over, you can start the screws into where they fit together. And of course, being that this is a Chinese unit, things don't always fit perfectly. So, like I said, just start the screws and don't tighten them. Just leave them stick up about 2 or 3 threads. Don't even get them hand tight, because the things are going to have to move around. Sorry, I've had a cold or a bug or a flu or something here, and I don't think the cigarettes are helping. Actually, these are cigars, they're not cigarettes, so it's probably not even as good as that. So here we see that one of the slots is almost the size of the screw head, so you know, not much you can do about that. Again, there's not a whole hell of a lot of quality, you know, but for the price, you're not getting a bad unit. So once you've got all that done in, you can turn it over and then see how everything lines up. You know, get these gaps a little bit more even. Everything's on slots, so you got even gaps all the way around, somewhere in there, and then just crank down the inside screws to tighten it all up, and then tighten up the four that hold the ring together. And yeah, that's it. We'll start up when we get to the legs. Okay, another quick tip here. Since this is a fairly big area, doing the legs, put it up on the box or put it up on a table or whatever, and at least you can do two of the legs a little bit easier by holding it up under there, because if you try to do this you know, free-handed by leaning it over and you're fighting the unit, then you're going to have a lot of trouble starting these and lining them up. Now, of course, I'm not using the Allen they supplied because I don't really use Allen L-shaped Allen wrenches. They're just, you know, I mean, I have regular professional equipment that I can use to make my life a lot easier. But again, if you don't have it. Now, another thing I want to mention too is that after the first fire, after you've let it cool down and cleaned it out, go and check all the tightness, because they will loosen up from the heat expansion, and you know, it is new metal and the contraction, so a lot of these will be loose, and you should probably do that twice. I had to do it twice on my other one, and after, hi Joey, he knows all about that. So yeah, anyway, I had to do it twice on the other unit, and after that it stayed tight. Anyway, I'm going to go talk to him for a little bit and consult if I'm doing it right. Yes? Okay. Alright, putting it together is finished. There are two things I do not like about this unit. One is that, oh, by the way, you're going to need a 10mm wrench for the handle. That's a nut on there, or a crescent wrench, a small crescent wrench, whatever. But you want to get that fairly tight onto the grid there. Okay, the one thing I didn't like, now on the smaller one, they gave you this handle here so that you can lift the hot top off of it to add fire, you know, to add wood to it. And on this one, they give you nothing. You can probably make something like this out of, you know, 3/16 inch rod or a 1/4 inch rod. Yeah, probably 1/4 inch rod would be good, and you could just bend it and maybe, you know, put something on the end of the handle. Even though when you're lifting this and, you know, you're usually setting it down somewhere like that, so the heat's not going to transfer up into the handle very quickly anyway. It just won't. The other thing is, this unit has drain holes in the bottom. I imagine, even though the bottom isn't concave, so the water's not going to run to the drain holes, this unit will have to be on a concrete, either pavers or a concrete base or whatever, because hot coals are going to fall through these. And this is where the bottom is also going to rot out very quickly. The smaller one didn't have this. There's no need for it. And even if you do leave it out in the rain and it does drain, or, you know, because it was hot and you left it out overnight, you can always tilt the thing over. So these are really not a good idea. It's going to promote rust very quickly. It'll promote burn through. and it'll let the hot coals drop down. So I don't like that part about this unit at all, even though it will be on concrete anyway. The bottoms of these get very hot. You do not want to put it on grass or anywhere that will catch on fire, just from the extreme heat that it'll put out at the bottom. This is where your coals are. So yeah, I mean, for the price, it's okay. You know, it's not the greatest thing, but again, the screening, the mesh is so expensive that fixing the little one, what I'll do for that is, you know, I'll ask around, see if anybody has a roll, and who the hell uses a whole roll of this type of wire mesh. You know, they're going to have cut off pieces, and maybe repair the little one for other things. I don't know, but this will be the main one. Or I might have to go back to the little one after a while when this one burns out. I don't think this is going to have the longevity of the other one, as far as the bowl is concerned. Now the hood, the top, and the fire arrestor may last longer on this one, just due to the fact that it's a bigger grid and it's higher up off of the logs. I'm not going to pile logs up to where it'll touch this. For the little one, you couldn't help it. I mean, you would have had such a small fire you couldn't have seen it. So, time will tell. They put their little Made in China proudly label on there. I ought to let that burn off out of spite. But, so there it is. This is a Home Depot, you know, 36-inch Hampton Bay, Endless Summer, I think they call it. Whatever. So, I mean, it's a nice looking unit for now, but the fires will tell the tale. So there it is, a quick video unboxing, putting it together. The top really isn't as sturdy held in as the other one either. The other one had brackets, 3 of them, on the inside to where the top really was more secure. But, you know, you're not going to have kids playing ball around it or whatever. And if you do, well, move it. Or move them. So, there it is. And our next project will be finishing up the Lincoln ball joint. I know I haven't started that video yet. It's been 3 days since I started it, and I just got the parts in last night, which gave me a nice break. So I'll probably finish that up this afternoon, hopefully. Depends on how the day goes and how my back feels. So hopefully that helps somebody out, and yeah, now it's time to enjoy a little bit bigger fire.